Hello, the Gentleman Gamer here, and today I'm playing EVE Online on the test server, and I logged in today to check out some new models CCP have put on the server that were released in a couple weeks, a little less than a couple weeks probably. The first one is the Vexor. The Vexor is pretty much my go-to ship for solo PvP. It's pretty flexible fitting wise, and the drones also add more flexibility to it for picking damage types. And as you can see here, the new model holds pretty true to the spirit of the Vexor. The shape is pretty similar. The narrowness in front even has that smile still going on here. Very cool. Of course, now it added some drone bays on the side, which makes sense because it's a drone ship. Even has some of the vents here and this odd spool thing that I remember the Dominic's also has. So those look pretty cool. We'll take a look at them with the skins real quick as well. We have the Guardian skin, Guardian's Gala, very, very cool. You can see here it has the Angel Cartel colors for the drone bays. That spool thing is also red, and it has the cool Cylon thing. Very, very cool. I think it's probably my favorite skin at the moment, especially with the new hull. And let's take a look at the blue one. It's from the Yule Festival. Again, very, very cool. Glacial colors all over the place. The new hull really makes it shine with these segments, which we'll see when you warp, they actually move. Looks very, very cool. I think it's a very good redesign of the ship, and I like how they kept true to the spirit of the ship as well. So you still know it's a Vexor, but you also know that it's been updated. So I think it's a very fine line with iconic looking ships, and I think CP did a pretty good job. Let's moving on here. I want to take a look at the warp animation, but let's take a look at the Navy issue. Now the hull is exactly the same, just the skins are different. So I did want to take a look at it before I warped off. It's pretty much one of the most used ships for ratting, VNIs anyway. So again, pretty cool. I'm not a big fan of the camo. It gets kind of frustrating with the limited skin options for this. I actually might buy one of these for my ratting ship. I do like that. I wish I could buy this one. I like this one more, but I'm pretty sure this is a FanFest only skin. So, but let's take a look at that warp animation. Let's go back to the Vexor real quick, and we'll take it for a ride. And we'll take a look at all the little bits that move. Alright, lining up for warp. You see all the turret panels go down. This part actually moves up, like all turtles up. Very cool. The vents even close. The lights go in the bottom. Very cool. Not a very, not an exaggerated one like some of the Caldari ships, but still it's very. I do enjoy the turret mountings going into the ship. Even the flashlights going in, or torch lights. See, this opens up as well. This opens up. Very cool. Overall, fantastic. It looks really cool, and I can't wait to hit. I can't wait to hit TQ. Now we'll look at the T2 variant. This is for more blingy ratting, we'll say. Very similar to the Vexor. I think even warp animation will be similar, but you can tell here it has a much bigger drone bay. It has 2 drone bays, it looks like. Or do they connect? Maybe they connect, I don't know. But anyway, the Ishtar does have a much bigger drone bay. So adding that little touch of extra drone bays on the ship itself makes sense. So take a look at the warp animation. I think it will be similar though. I don't think anything has changed on that front. But we'll move on to the next area here. We'll take a look at the warp animation anyway, just to make sure. Okay. Yeah, these close in, those close in, those close in. These don't close because there's no more vents there. So that's only only change we can see here. Everything else pretty much closing exactly like the Vexor, which is fine. You know, sometimes you don't need overly complicated warp animations. Some ships though, it really does work. They do a really good job. But this one, I think the armor plates closing up all around it look good enough, I think. Very cool. So all in all, the Ishtar, the Vexor, I think it's a pretty bang-up job updating the hull while keeping it still a Vexor, which is always nice. Now, next we'll do a little bonus here. I didn't go after I didn't do a pass on these ships when they first came out, and technically they're not on TQ yet. In the modes we're looking at, the Concord ship models, the Pacifier, the Enforcer, and also the Marshall battleship are going to be redone. The Pacifier and the Enforcer are already out. If you go to a gate, you'll see the new models floating around, trying to kill people. But the ones for players have not been released yet, so hopefully that'll come out soon. But I have my Estero here, and I have a Pacifier, and I think the Pacifier will, for me anyway, will be running the same capacity as an Estero. You see here, we'll board that ship real quick. Again, this is a very cool looking ship. Obviously, you won't have all the bells and whistles of a Concord ship. You won't have the insta-death that a Pacifier usually has on other Capsuleer ships. But it does look really, really cool. And it has some pretty interesting bonuses, which we'll take a look at real quick here. And you'll see why I think it could be not a replacement for the Estero, but if you feel like switching out, depending on cost, of course, as well. Let's take a look at this. Now, it starts off with a core and combat scanner probe strength, which, again, very good if you're used like an Estero for exploration. Even the reduction in survey probe flight time. It gets a 10% bonus to warp speed and acceleration, so it will be faster than the Estero once you get the Corvette Op skill up. And it also has each race's turrets skill up here, so whatever race you can use projectiles, you can use hybrids, you can use small engine turrets. You can also use light missiles or rockets if you're a Caldari character. So it's very similar to the Gnosis in that fact, that you can use pretty much whatever weapon system you want on here, other than drones. And down here you see an actual cloak, which is cool. Again, same as an Estero. It gets 10% bonus to relic and data analyzer virus strength, like an Estero. Now, the bottom here is probably the more interesting ones, I think. If you're actually ratting in this ship, you'll get a 10% bonus to security status gains if you're destroying pirates, which is probably the first ship I've seen with this kind of bonus on it. Very interesting. And there's also on the bottom here is armor or shield booster or repair effectiveness, which increases with your security status. So my security status on this character is 5.0, so I get the full 50% bonus to my repper. And they also talked about in the future having other ships come available where the lower your security status is, the better the repper works, or do more damage, or you fly faster. So again, these are very, very interesting bonuses. I'm really interested in the future what they're going to do with stuff like this. But when I get the ship, because CCP said, even if you didn't go to FanFest, which is how you got this ship, they'll be released like the Gnosis and like promotions and stuff like that. I'll probably use it for exploration, just to make it a little. Sometimes you want to spice it up, change ships around, and it would do the job pretty well. I have blasters up top, cloak, scan probe launchers. These give me with the damage mod here. It gives me about 125. Not crazy good. Obviously if I didn't have the scan probe launcher, I can probably do more damage, but then I'll defeat the whole purpose of exploration. So 125 isn't bad. Data and relic analyzers. I have a point, and I have a micro overdrive 2. Now with the small ancillary repper, I get 330, which I think is the max for my security status. I also have 2 auxiliary nano pumps that help pump that up a little bit. So 330 isn't bad for repping wise. I probably should add some buffer to this because the HP isn't very high on these. 625 that's pretty terrible, I think. Ooh, sorry guys. Damage control 2, adaptive nano membrane, and overall I think it would do the same good job. This is an Estero. You do gain quite a bit, like you see 11.20. That's pretty fast, warp speed and acceleration, but you do suffer in the align time. The Estero, you can get it below 2 seconds, so if you're in low sec, they can't catch you. But there's just no way. I've tried. there's no way to knock it down below 2 seconds, so I'm assuming that's by design. But overall, it's a really cool ship, and when it comes out, at, depending on price, of course, when it comes out, I will be using it for most likely exploration, maybe killing an explorer too with the blasters. Okay, with all that out of the way, let's take a look at the warp animation for it. It is pretty cool. Alright, what's it gonna do? So, oh, the wings go down. Oh, that's pretty cool. How far do they go? Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that warp. That's pretty interesting. Again, not very complicated, but dramatic enough to change the tone of the ship, pretty much. Alright, very cool. And obviously this new sun's very cool as well. GE has a very nice sun in it. I do enjoy the purplish suns the most. But anyway, we move on to the next ship, which is the Enforcer, which I roughly equated to my Stratios. Now the Enforcer, I think when I do get my hands on, I'll probably use it for combat exploration. That's what I use my Stratios for. So let's take a look at the fit. Again, very cool looking ship. Obviously they changed it quite a bit. They kept the base shape. This very similar to it, but it kind of looks like a mix of Mortis Legion and what was the other one? Galenti, maybe the new Galenti ships, maybe. Again, it looks pretty cool though. I'm digging the smoothness on top and like the hard edges on the bottom. Again, very, very cool. But I think since I'll be using combat exploration, I've been matching it up to the Stratios. I don't think it's as good as the Stratios when it really comes down to it, because it does get similar bonuses to. It gets similar bonuses to the pacifier, but it's a bit more hunter-esque to it. As you see the recon ships, it gets a bonus range to warp scrambler and warp disruptor range. So right off the bat, you're thinking this ship can be used more for hunting. Again, also with the hunter in mind, stays with fire optimal range as well, and it warps faster, which is the same as the pacifier. So in that respect, this ship seems to be more geared to hunting people. Those will be very helpful for doing that. And the warp speed, of course, getting there quicker. Again, also very helpful. Now it has the same layout here for the all the turrets, and the light missiles, heavy missiles, and heavy assault missiles for the Caldari. So any weapons you want to use for this hull, you can use. It also cloaks like a Stratios, again hunter in mind, and it has that same 10% bonus security status gain if you're ratting with it. It also gets the armor repair and shield booster bonus that you get from assuming your security status isn't terrible, of course. But for my fit, I just went passive. I'm not sure why I went passive. I probably should try it and see what kind of rep I get with a large, or actually I think probably a large. I don't think you fit an extra large on here. DPS wise, 303. My Stratios gets about 417, 430. So you're taking a dip there, but you don't get the same tracking issues as you do with sentries with the heavy assault missiles. So maybe it'll balance out. Not sure. But yeah, I get 43 with these with the range mod, and overall it's not that bad of a ship. I will try to use it for this, again depending on price. So overall I think it's an interesting little ship, but it's probably more suited for hunting than combat exploration. But it looks like that's the video. But let's take a look at the warp animations before we go. I don't think I have another room to go to. Do I have another room? I don't think so. Let's just go back to the main one. We'll see what happens there. Now, whoa. That was a fast warping. That's really fast. I guess there's a line for it, I guess. I'm not seeing a whole lot of change. Down here, I think this went up a little bit. But I didn't see a whole lot. The whole top doesn't seem to move. Let's take a look on land. Yeah, the bottom. That's about it. Again, not very exaggerated. The pacifier is a bit more to it, but that's okay. But I think that's the video, guys. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, of course, leave a like. If you like the content, of course, subscribe. And fly safe and fly brave.